Anna, you helped Cenk do union busting at the Young Turks. You don't have any foundation for saying anybody over the working class. We were unionizing because we wanted to get health insurance for one of our members. I deserve to have paid days off. So shut the up about working class. You helped Cenk do union busting, helped cover it up, and never, ever retracted or apologized for it.
One of my grounding political values is that workers should have better pay, better working conditions, a seat at the table. Unionized labor, I think, is incredibly important, which, you know, it's something that's been decimated in recent decades in this country. But that's like my number one interest in politics.
More on the Majority Report and some of the that went down. And I think this will be, we'll wrap it up. Yeah, we're not going to get to the Elon Musk at CPAC shit. So here we go. I did dig up some of the stuff I had referred to earlier. So this is a bit of that context to show you the stuff that led to Anna releasing this big video where she addresses the Majority Report. It's on TYT's YouTube. Go look at it if you want to see the full reaction. We're going to look at a couple little pieces of it. I can go deeper someday if people want. So here is a tweet from January 31st, 2025. Anna, someone tweeted out this from Anna. Let's see what she says.
I know that Francesca Fiorentini is currently attacking you about this, right, as if Donald Trump is unique. He's novel compared to past presidents, certainly a special kind of evil that we've never seen before. In her mind, these are the gulags that she was warning about. But in fact, this has been a long-standing...
The deportation camps that they're already doing in Guantanamo. That Francesca released a video clip from her interview with Cenk. She brings me up in that interview too, as you've seen, but he makes a barf face and then cackles with hate at, and but then, okay, I gotta show it to you. God damn it. Okay, we're ready to play this, but let's play a little bit more of Anna, and then we'll jump back a day or so to this video that Francesca posted, referring back to the interview she did with Cenk in December. But it shows that she was right and he was wrong, and they do it in a funny way. Of course, she and her husband Matt Lieb are both stand-up comedians. I remember talking with her and Matt Lieb at a Christmas party once, and my pleasant memory is that they were both tall, and I like talking because I'm also above average height, and so it was nice to talk to tall people. No bending over.
Practice. You can
back up a little, but she's mad about Francesca calling Cenk out. January 31st.
Kind of evil that we've never seen before. In her mind, these are the gulags that she was warning about. But in fact, this has been a long-standing practice. You can be against that practice, but Donald Trump isn't doing anything new here.
Yeah, it seemed very straw man-y to just mischaracterize what Francesca was arguing, as Cenk does quite abundantly. I'd say he's a bit more advanced at it than Anna is, but that was they're both doing that.
So I'm going to address it. I think that the clip that Francesca's using is misleading and totally out of context, but that's okay. But I know that
no, it's not okay. No, it's not okay. That dishonesty is not okay.
Yeah,
but continue. Go ahead.
I hear you. I hear you. I don't mean to.
But she's getting the likes that she wants, right? Otherwise, I mean, who would pay attention to anything she's doing? If she's not attacking TYT.
Well, Francesca is incredibly talented, by the way. She's really like way above most people on doing this shit on the internet. This is a stand-up. She gets that skill and that poise and that thinking on your feet that comes from being a stand-up. But she's so well put together in so many ways. It's like the idea that she wouldn't get any, and she had a whole career before TYT. She did just special with MSNBC and media and AJ Plus and National Geographic. She was a correspondent for. So the idea that the reason she gets any attention is because she's being brave enough to stand up to Cenk's bullshit is absurd. It's totally ridiculous.
Right. Otherwise, I mean, who would pay attention to anything she's doing if she's not attacking TYT? But anyway, continue, Cenk.
Yeah,
dishonesty is not okay. Anna's not a fan of dishonesty. Keep that in mind for some of the stuff we're going to look at. So let's see the video that they're referring to, and then we will get back to Emma reacting to this part where Anna said that. So the timeline's all over the place. So this is from I saw it. We'll get back to Cenk's answer. So this is 2 days before what we just saw Anna say there. Here's a video Francesca posted.
Want to have a beer with people who want to put people in mass deportation camps. They want to deport.
You think we're going to get put in camps? You sound all right.
Pausing. Trump plans to build mass detention camps for deportees at Guantanamo Bay. That's the Washington Post. The Independent. Trump signs executive order opening detention camp at Guantanamo Bay for 30,000 migrants. Live updates. Another headline. Defense Secretary Hegseth says Guantanamo Bay is perfect place to hold migrants safely in the interim. Subhead. Trump wants DOD and DHS to prepare a 30,000 person migrant facility at the U.S. Naval Base in Cuba. So it's expanding the standing policy of America to do deportations. Biden was very aggressive with deportations, and Anna acting like Francesca is ignorant of that context is ridiculous. But they're building a camp on Guantanamo Bay, which formerly held suspected terrorists, which is of course bullshit from the war on terror that George W. Bush and his right-wing cronies initiated back then. But these are just people who have at most misdemeanors for overstaying their visas or and this is part of America's internal fascistic upswell that is represented by the Project 2025 and the Trump administration and the right-wing project here. And Anna recently admitted that she was wrong for thinking that MAGA or that Trump was not going to do Project 2025. That's been its own cycle on here. So Francesca put out this video. Another headline, Donald Trump moves to prepare Guantanamo Bay for 30,000 criminal illegal aliens. Boom. So Cenk answered her very aggressively. He won't answer anything I put on the internet because he knows it'll draw attention because he's a coward. So it would be nice if he would. But because as soon as he does, people are going to say, what's this Hank guy's deal? Oh, a film? Oh, look, he was part of the, oh, geez, why did the union? Oh, my God, you use classification to deny benefits? You have people working 40-hour weeks while you call them part-time? Gosh, that doesn't, why is this what people do when they say, gosh? What do people do? That means apple. That's how gorillas say that they want an apple. Sign language, I mean. Okay, sorry, my head's going nuts. Cenk answers Francesca, this is totally out of context horse shit. Is horse shit 2 words or 1? In another part of the interview, she was talking about gulags for Chinese Americans. When you say this is mass deportation camps, you're scaring the shit out of people who are undocumented and haven't committed any crimes. Stick to facts. Another guy who's big on the facts. Francesca answers, and the gall to say that I am scaring undocumented people and not ICE with 1,200 person daily quotas who are targeting workplaces where hundreds of non-criminals, quote unquote, are being swept up daily is truly beneath you. Say less. Does Cenk answer that one? Does not seem so. But then she answers this another response here. Sometimes it's hard to thread these tweet things, but she writes, nah, Cenk, I never mentioned Chinese immigrants until just after you scoffed at camps. And when I did, I was referring to these reports. Either way, stay mad at the wrong people. She brought receipts. It's a headline from NBC News, immigration section, as sources say Trump could deport undocumented Chinese first. Asian American groups rush to prep. Sources previously told NBC News that undocumented Chinese nationals of military age will be among the first groups targeted for deportation by the incoming Trump administration. Then Cenk writes, a little ironic coming from you because you seem to be spending most of your time being angry with me. Oh, I didn't go to Wharton Business School, the same school as Donald Trump and Elon Musk, so have people be angry with me. I'm a savior. I use classification. Sorry. Okay. So this is all context for then Anna making this comment 2 days later on January 31st. Then Emma... later that night, 8:22 p.m., after it got posted by Escover on Twitter, Emma wrote, gotta love the performative piousness of Polymarket populists. Lots of P's in that one. Good alliteration. Coming for ally and movement partner Franny Fio, because she posted Cenk's own words coming from his mouth. Go back to your roots ranking celebrity camel toes. Get your clicks that way as the rest of us oppose fascism. Oh, dang. Mic drop. Got you. Nailed it. So Anna took issue with this this answer, we have a couple extra tweets here. So of course, Bernie's cat does this classic meme of the young men making one guy's. How do you even describe this? The guy with the eyes. Okay, Emma goes subtweet. I don't know. We're in the political debate and discourse space, and some folks just can't hack it. Sad to see. She writes. So pretty good words there. Francesca writes, "LOL." She went full Regina George. I don't know what that means, but I'm assuming it's nailed it, I guess. So Anna then retweets, quote tweets Emma's alliterative performative pyness of Polymarket populist tweet that we just read. So Anna writes, oh God, oh Jesus, this is really okay. She writes, I remember Emma telling me verbatim, I never have to work a day in my life if I don't want to. Would you write that down in your journal verbatim? Because of how wealthy her family is. Your mom threw a nice little fundraiser for Senator Gillibrand in 2019, right? I get why you're so attached to a party that fucked over the working class over and over again. Anna, you helped Cenk do union busting at the Young Turks. You don't have any foundation for saying anybody fucked over the working class. We were unionizing because we wanted to get health insurance for one of our members. I deserve to have paid days off. So shut the fuck up about working class. You helped Cenk do union busting, helped cover it up, and never, ever retracted or apologized for it.
One of my grounding political values is that workers should have better pay, better working conditions, a seat at the table. Unionized labor, I think, is incredibly important, which, it's something that's been decimated in recent decades in this country. But that's like my number one interest in politics.
And I'm making the movie. I guarantee she knows about it. Going on here. So, I don't really expect her to understand what it's like to live in a neighborhood that's been overrun with criminals due to the policies she preaches in the name of gaining social capital. Fran did a hatchet job on Cenk, even though he was kind enough to waste his time going on her show in the name of openness and understanding. I knew he was making a mistake. Don't go on a show, Cenk. It's a mistake. Run, Cenk, run. Somebody might do journalism near you. We can't have that. These people aren't interested in building any coalitions. They're not open to understanding anything. They don't even give a shit about winning policy goals. Literally, the worst thing Cenk ever did was open up the company to these people. They came in, leached off what he built, and turned on him for clout the first second they could. Also, tell me, Emma, since taking a sponsor is so unacceptable to you and the 4-person company you work for, how many of the dozens of employees at TYT should Cenk lay off to appease your judgmental ass? Tell us! What if Emma was just like, 17? That's how many? She has an answer. And then Anna comes back with, just looks like adding another tweet to the thing. Emma, you should probably be open about the Harris campaign's ad buy on the Majority Report, too. Keep that in mind. That we're gonna get back to this one. Maybe that's why you were cheering so hard for a woman who shooed away any left-wing activist who wanted to ask her legitimate questions about her foreign policy in the Middle East. Whoa. The letter hack, friend of the show I've been on. I'd like to have him on my show someday. I'm terrible about doing guests and stuff, but he writes, if anyone ever needed to log off, ellipses, or ... as we like to say, Sam wrote, you have lost your mind, and he included a tweet from his own self. Friend of the show, Patreon supporter, Tracy Eva wrote, breaking news, Ana Kasparian has lost her fucking mind again. All caps. So people are really jumping in on it. Then, okay, that's my stuff. Is this the... Okay, that's right. We have a Sam response. It's linked down below. We just saw it. But just checking the quote tweets here. Matt Lieb, host of Bad Hasbara podcast. Nice guy. Again, like I said, tall. I talked with him and his wife once. His wife is Francesca. Writes, quote tweets Anna saying, I'd say I ain't reading all that, but Anna's heard enough of that from various book publishers. Oh, quality. Nicely done. Down here we have Sam's response to Anna somewhere. That is all I wanted to get. There we go. So the Harris thing, saying that Harris did an ad buy, is really goofy. Sam writes, quote tweeting Anna, saying, "This is a This is a 100% unmitigated absolute lie. Let's make a Polymarket bet on it!" Exclamation point. And of course, here at the bottom, there's me saying, "Sam, I told you I'd call back to talk woodworking, but I'd like to call in to tell you about Tell the Truth, Cenk, my documentary about unionizing the Young Turks, sponsored by Evil Gambling website. Your audience will know far more about the union situation than TYTs." So good stuff. Christina Cosmopolitics, everybody give her a follow, says, "Get her." Everybody's jumping in. So this is the drama that was going down, which led us to, oh, God damn it, motherfucker. All right. So that was February 2nd, 2025. Okay. So we're still all around the turn of the month. Do people do months turn? And this is also what got me, as you've just seen, interested in calling them up again, and letting people know about the union stuff, because I felt like that was an important part of this thing. So then we get this piece from the Majority Report called, the YouTube title is Whoopsie ... which is also a reference to Tim Pool saying that on, it's one of the drops that they use where he goes whoopsie. I can make my voice go nicely high pitched only when appropriate. That was on February 14th, 2025. So a little time had passed. Cooler heads had not prevailed. But, I think some other stuff might have set this off too. I'm not sure precisely. We're not really going to watch it, but if we mouse over, we can see we'll just watch these like highlight bits. There's probably other stuff in here, but actually, you know what we'll do for you? Transcripts are on, and we'll start it. We'll see what they say, and then we'll jump around a little bit too, because we can't just sit here and watch the whole thing.
Yeah, credit where credit's due. That's what this
segment's about.
This segment's about. As you know, we have been talking about Project 2025 for, I don't know, probably a year at this point. And it has been accelerated by the entry in whatever it was, June or July or August, of the crypto tech bros, Peter Thiel, Elon Musk, Andreessen et al., who also had a similarly aligned incentive structure to attack the federal government. Look, Steve Bannon said this in 2017 at CPAC, maybe in February of 2017. Our agenda is to destroy the administrative state. Republicans have always done that. You can go back to, what's that, Rick Perry Ding Dong. I'm going to get rid of 3 government agencies. And he couldn't remember which one it was, but it was so part of the Republican idea.
Oops.
It's 3 agencies of government when I get there that are gone: commerce, education, and the, what's the third one there? Let's see.
EPA?
EPA, there you go. No, okay.
Let's stop deposition.
Seriously? Is EPA the one you were talking about? Or
No, sir.
You can't name the third one?
The third agency of government,
Yeah.
I would do away with the education, the commerce, and let's see. I can't. The third one I can't. Sorry. Oops.
And that motherfucker, Rick Perry, was made the secretary of the Department of Energy, and he had no idea that also encompasses nuclear technology, nuclear arms. It's under the Energy Department. Didn't know it, and he was in charge of the entire department. Like shit, like a lot of stuff like similar is happening in the Trump happened under Bush. There's just Republicans don't give a shit about the government other than its usefulness to their power project and stuff. So yeah, here we go.
Ideology. And at the end of the first Trump administration, Russell Vought, as OMB director, had essentially hatched this plot, which they weren't able to basically put into place, but to get rid of civil servants, career people working at agencies.
Sorry, we're going to get rid of the transcript. It's just too annoying.
With political appointees. Schedule F was the categorization of these workers.
And then Biden rescinded that, and then Trump, I think, now has put it back in place, right, upon coming back into office.
Yes. And this has been out there.
Vogt talked about traumatizing federal workers.
And he and Vogt worked for an outfit.
That's exactly what they're doing right now.
He was doing this in conjunction with the Heritage Society, but he was
Heritage Foundation.
Heritage Foundation.
His think tank was called the Center for Renewing America.
Center for Renewing America. That was basically the Trump administration in exile. All right. So here is a clip from the Vanguard about people who were in Project 2025 denial.
So if you just type in TYT Project 2025, beautifully, the first search result, Trump's plan is not Project 2025. Who could believe it? That's crazy. Let's take a quick look and see exactly what Anna had to say in this clip. Then we're going to take a look at one more.
So I totally believe this reporting. I think this is actually accurate reporting. And if reporters didn't just serve as stenographers for the Democratic Party, they would have maybe found out there's a different think tank that literally has the same slogan as Donald Trump, and they might have reported on that ahead of time instead, but they didn't. Go ahead,
And
Cenk.
his top staffers were connected to it, including Kellyanne.
So this video is about how there's another plan that's, way less concerning than Project 2025. That, all these liberals in mainstream media and all these Democrats, they're freaking out and they want to fear monger about Project 2025. But in reality, there's this other one that like Kellyanne Conway is behind or something. And it's way less scary. It's way less scary. Actually, if Trump gets into power, it might not even be that dramatic at all. It's probably just going to be like any other Republican administration, right?
Yeah, I remember we reacted to this at the same time. And to Cenk's credit, this was before he had gone so soft on MAGA. He's actually pushing back on her from what I remember in this clip.
No, he's not.
No?
This one, he's not. There were other ones where he did. In this one, no, he goes on to say, yep, this is the real plan. I think we can watch him say that right here.
Conway, et cetera. So these guys are definitely in charge. And one of the Trump staffers on his campaign team said, they're not the transition team, but they kind of are. They said, he said, in effect, they are. Because we didn't have time to plan it. And here's a hilarious part of the story before I get to the worst part of the story. They said Trump is superstitious, so he didn't want to talk about a transition team at all before he won, which then greatly delays them.
Either way, that's the main part of that one.
First off, I didn't know, we hadn't played that last part. Any 5 minutes worth of reporting beforehand knew that Russell Vogt and the Heritage Foundation was literally building a dossier. I mean, we saw ads. They were literally.
All right, let's jump ahead. Most replayed here. See what they're saying.
Granted, it's behind a paywall, but according to the Vanguard, people have admitted that they made a mistake.
All right, back on TYT. Cenk and Anna with you guys. More news.
So I just want to address something. I was wrong about Project 2025. MAGA hates Project 2025, and I thought that Donald Trump actually cared about his base because in his first term, he seemed to be swayed by his base. He seemed to listen to his base.
Wait a second. Wait. MAGA hates Project 2025?
Where's the evidence of that?
What is this MAGA that they speak?
They do speak about MAGA as this kind of uni party, singular thing, person, entity. As a shorthand for a collective of people organized around some sort of ideological center or some sort of maybe cultish obsession with a strongman personality leader. I guess it's not the word, but it's also highly interpretive. This is very imprecise. But just to speak about MAGA wanting something is just kind of like, MAGA lives down the street. Bought the camouflage house. Hard to see.
What is this? Make America Great hates Project 2025? Every single person involved in Project 2025 are the most Make America Great people there are. What is this whole idea that this is a betrayal of Donald Trump? This is what Donald Trump ran on.
So we're in, remember, this is February 14th. This video, the Vanguard video, is from...
All right, back on TYT, Cenk.
I like they're using DaVinci Resolve. 12 days ago, February 13th. So just kind of keeping track of the timeline there a little bit. We'll jump ahead a little bit to see what Sam says here. I'm just looking for these high watch time peaks.
He was secretly recorded by some British journalists who came in. He goes, "Trump is distancing, but we're not worried about it."
Right, exactly. So I wonder if they saw that, but maybe not. I don't know.
Do we want to play the rest of this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Here we go.
Because in his first term, he seemed to be swayed by his base. He seemed to listen to his base. This time around, not so much. So Russell
and
Bott,
this part here, Anna, where she's in the black shirt, admits to being wrong. Good for her. It's commendable to do that. I wish she would do that about the Young Turks Union. She doesn't seem interested. Maybe she hasn't fully ingested the fact that there's completely detailed information from me and on my Substack and in the documentary. It might be, so I'll leave it open to that idea, because I would love it if she reached out and she wanted to, interrogate my credibility and issue a retraction. It would be cool if she was the one who confronted Cenk about it. Honestly, that would be an interesting thing. Is her credibility worth keeping in pieces to protect a guy who took advantage of her loyalty in order to help him bust a union and hide his horrible workplace practices that drove us to unionize? But so this is, I think, a few days before Vanguard. I'm not sure exactly when, but it's just within a week before that. So, just so you're clear.
as the head of the Office of Management and Budget, and considering what he just did with the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, makes it abundantly clear to me that they are implementing Project 2025. So I will admit when I'm wrong, I was wrong. I totally predicted incorrectly what would happen with Project 2025.
Oh, pause it. No, it's not. And I appreciate the Vanguard for doing this. Again, it is not the prediction. People make predictions all the time.
Right, I was wrong in my prediction about the election, but
this is not making some type of Polymarket bet here.
Yeah.
Where the outcome we can't tell.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was abundance amount of evidence of this. And even if your opinion, not prediction, opinion was, I can't see them doing this. This is pretty radical. The idea that you would mock people for believing it and saying it was a conspiracy theory. The people had Trump derangement syndrome. I'm sorry. Give me a break. But at least we can acknowledge what's actually ongoing.
Yes.
And I would recommend this go into the free part of their show so that their audience can know about it.
And emphasizing it. And, I will say, as long as people are issuing corrections, there was a claim made that we took money from the Kamala Harris campaign for our show. Now, that never happened. We've clarified that. It's laughable.
Whoa. We don't
Wait,
know.
actually.
We're still
I'm sorry. There's a deadline on this Polymarket bet. I think.
It'd be funny if Kamala Harris sticks her head into the frame. You bet. Puts $100 bill in Sam's shirt pocket.
But you can.
So that was a bet on Polymarket. Honestly, it's occurred to me to do a Polymarket thing, like to try to promote the film. I don't know if that's ethically okay for, I don't know, but like will Cenk Uygur acknowledge that he lied to his audience about the origin of TYT Union? Because that's the core of the truth that I want them to correct. That's why it's called Tell the Truth, Cenk. Cenk told his audience a story that's not true, that outsiders started the union to harm his run for Congress, when in fact it was insiders, organically driven. It started in 2018 originally, but then I woke it up intentionally in 2019 to deal with being called independent. You've seen it all. So I know the absolute truth about what happened here, but it might be an interesting way to sort of bring some attention to the film, maybe. I don't know how to do any of that, and honestly, how many more fucking goddamn passwords do I have to keep track of? But I think that would be really interesting, though, to see on Polymarket, which was TYT was the Polymarket Studios, as you know, obviously.
So there's on Polymarket, you can gamble with crypto about whether or not Kamala bought ads on the Majority Report. Somebody bought a good amount of it.
Can we bet on this, or do you have to be outside of America to bet on it?
I don't think it's legal in the United States, but. Somebody I think placed a bet. Can you scroll down to the holders, Bradley? There's some folks that first of all, so here it is, the rules.
It says on February 3rd, Ana Kasparian asserted that Kamala Harris bought ads on Majority Report during her 2024. Okay, so there's information there. holders, no holders. Is that just?
We can go to the rules, show more for the rules. On February 3rd, Ana Kasparian asserted that Kamala Harris bought ads on the Majority Report during her 2024 presidential campaign. This market will resolve to yes if a consensus of credible reporting and or disclosures from Kamala Harris's campaign or the Majority Report proves that Kamala Harris bought ads on the Majority Report during her blah, blah, blah. Otherwise, this market will resolve to no. Only direct purchases made by the campaign itself will count. Ads purchased by associated political action committees, super PACs, or other third-party organizations that are not directly a part of Kamala Harris's official campaign will not count. So
that's very formalized, though, in terms of like kind of just like making clear. It's almost legalese-ish. I wonder if the person who posts that has to be like that, like it's a lawyer brain type thinking to write it that way, or if it's like some kind of Polymarket process sets that up or something, or because I could see it being really willy-nilly and it being very vague and unclear, even on an illegal overseas evil gambling website. You still probably need to follow some sort of strictures for, if anything, administering the bet, but also preventing other kind of liabilities and stuff. The more clarity that's there, the better. I would say.
But a March 31st deadline, I think.
Now hold on for a second.
Yeah.
See, I have some questions here.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. First off, let me just say, we have never had any ads purchased by associated political action committees, PACs, super PACs, or any other third-party organization that are not directly part of Kamala Harris' official campaign. So that we can put out. That doesn't count.
All right, I got it right here. This is crazy. Let me see. Let's get back. Let's look at it. Okay. Let me get a good sight on that. So 7%, yes. $1,271 in volume, whatever that means precisely. Yes, 9 cents. No, 96 cents. And here it is. 1,408. Yes, 5 cents. No, 98.9 cents. 3%. Oh, okay. So 3% chance. So it starts out at a high percentage, and then we can track how likely it is over time. It's an interesting way to kind of track. It's like Google Trends almost. I'm not but based on betting behaviors or something. It's just so crazy. So 3%. Honestly, man, will Cenk Uygur admit that he told his audience a false story about TYT Union, or will Cenk Uygur? However I said it the first time, I think was better. Will Cenk? Yeah, but I don't know. Some sort of very clear notion, and will he admit that it was a worker-led effort that began 18 months prior to address exploitative working conditions? Because that's the truth. And those specifics you've seen on my Substack and stuff, but that's what happened. Here's the comments. Someone writes, Ana is a mentally ill liar. 9 days ago. Dave of the Degan says, Sam, just lie and say you were paid and we buy up a bunch of yes shares beforehand. I mean, that's the thing, is that you can manipulate this stuff. Another one here. I watched the show almost daily. This show almost daily. No way they were in the pocket of Kamala camp. Someone writes, what is this? Okay. So there it is today, 3%. It's so weird. Well, a little bit more with Sam and Emma, and then yeah, here it is. Okay, so we're right about to get to this little watch time peak right there.
It says the market will resolve to a yes consensus if there's credible reporting and or disclosures from Harris's campaign or the Majority Report that proves that Harris bought ads on the Majority Report. Now, this is an ethical dilemma for us.
Yeah.
Because...
So he talks about that he could manipulate it himself. And that's like Matt Bender made the point about the LA fires, because you can bet about the fires on Polymarket. You could go start fires to change the way the betting website deals with the bet. It's super wild that that's legal. It's clearly there needs to be some sort of intervention, regulatory intervention for that kind of stuff. So remember, here's Ana saying, Emma, you should probably be open about the Harris campaign's ad buy on the Majority Report, too. Maybe that's why you were cheering so hard for a woman who shooed away any left-wing activist who wanted to ask her legitimate questions about her foreign policy in the Middle East. She's like trying to smear Emma for preferring Kamala over Trump in this election. I preferred Kamala over Trump. I was against Trump in this election. I also wanted Kamala to go to prison for the rest of her life for murder and mass murder and being a war criminal, which also exists alongside wanting to avoid a Trump presidency, precisely for the reasons we're seeing now and the chaos that's happening. All right, so that was on the 14th, Valentine's Day, by the way, the only day of the year my decorations make sense. Anna then answers on February 20th. We've been building up to this. So here's the response from Anna to Sam and Emma. A week has gone by, 6 days. And people judged her for making it saying oh, all this stuff's going on in the world and this is what you're spending your time on. I don't think that's it's just a minor blip kind of thing. I get the kind of idea behind that criticism, but on the other hand, I think there are some substantive issues here in terms of what media, the role media plays, the responsibility media has. I'm making a documentary about credibility and about integrity and about media responsibility and about power, how power works within and throughout media systems. That's why we spent so much time in the film going through Cenk's campaign and showing the different ways that his campaign was covered. The ethical dark web sequence, which has David Doyle, Humanist Report, Sahil Habibi, Jeff Waldorf, Sam Seder, Joe Rogan, Kyle Kalinske. That whole sequence about the New York Times smear, something Cenk still complains about to this day. I saw him talking about the other week. I understand the notion of limited time, what you choose to focus on. And I don't blame TYT for coming forward and trying to defend themselves either, even if they're taking some wild swings here and didn't seem to be received very well. We'll look at the comments too, if I remember to do that, right? Make a note here. But let's just let Anna talk. And at the opening, it's fair to see the way she starts. And then I picked out a couple spots to jump ahead to.
Last week, Emma Vigeland and Sam Seder of the Majority Report thought it would be fun to put out a more than 18-minute long video chastising and mocking me for my willingness to admit that I was wrong, in part for downplaying the possibility of Donald Trump implementing Project 2025 upon winning the election.
People have admitted that they made a mistake.
All right, back on TYT, Cenk and Anna with you guys. More news.
So I just want to address something. I was wrong about Project 2025. MAGA hates Project 2025, and I thought that Donald Trump actually cared about his base because in his first term, he seemed to be swayed by his base. He seemed to listen to his base.
Wait a second. Wait. MAGA hates Project 2025?
Where's the evidence of that?
What? What is this MAGA that they speak of?
You know what? Sam is totally right. It is he who understands the MAGA base better than anyone else. I mean, the guy goes out of his way to engage in dialogue with Trump voters. He seeks to understand where their hearts and minds are at. Here he is touting his openness to understanding people who vote differently than he does.
We can't take the power back without talking to Trump voters and making them realize their mistake. Well, wait.
So let's pander to them first.
Pick your battles doesn't have anything to do with talking to Trump voters. Yeah. Or not.
Or flattering false
You've just
consciousness.
decided to make some weird connection there. Yeah. We can't take the power back without talking to Trump voters and making them realize their mistake. Actually, no, we can't. There's millions and millions of other people who need to be motivated to get into the fight.
Is that I am coming from the Polymarket studios?
Insulting them and lumping them all together as the worst among them doesn't help either. I don't know when we have done that with all 78 million people, but I got news for you. The percentage of those who voted for Mitt Romney, they can suck my. I don't care about any of that. I don't care about any of that.
Astute analysis.
I've heard of woodworking, but that's ridiculous. Speaking of who knows MAGA's base, let's just take a quick look at Emma Vigeland's contributions to the Young Turks over the years. We're not going to watch them or anything, but let's let Lana finish her thought here, though. I think she's reacting to what Sam said.
There you have it. Sam Seder, noted expert on Trump voters who he won't talk to and has no interest in understanding. Got it. But
that's not true. I mean, Sam takes phone calls. Cenk took phone calls last October for the first time in many years and got called out for the union busting, which he then vehemently denied, lied about being a union buster, and then gaslit his audience by saying that because there's a union, he couldn't possibly be a union buster. And so Sam's prides himself on arguing with conservatives. He has an open invitation to talk to Cenk. Of course he wants to talk to conservatives. He's willing to have anybody on his show who wants to come on and debate him over stuff. They pulled a whole scheme to get him on air with Steven Crowder because Cold Feet Crowder was scared to talk to Sam Seder. He goes out of his way to do it. He just did Jubilee. He was on the Patrick Bet David podcast. It's like this notion that he's, because of what he just said in terms of strategically reaching out to MAGA voters in order to try to win a coalition to defeat the Trumpies or non-voters and disaffected lefties and disaffected liberals and try to build a coalition out of that. That's the strategy debate. Cenk talks about this kind of thing a little bit more later on. I think my summary just there was more closer to a fair assessment than what I think Cenk and Anna are offering. But the idea that she's saying that Sam doesn't want to talk to voters to Trumpies is ridiculous.
Worth asking why Trump would repeatedly deny supporting Project 2025 on the campaign trail. Was it to appeal to libs like Sam Seder? Or maybe it's because he knew his base doesn't support large swaths of the policy agenda laid out in the project's 900-page document. So to say that Trump is implementing Project 2025 isn't even fully accurate because, well, there's a lot that he doesn't agree with that's in that document.
According to Trump, the least trustworthy person in the history of trust. But let's see what people know about voters, MAGA voters. Let's see someone who actually has had experience with MAGA voters. Emma Vigeland toured the damn country on behalf of TYT, showing up at event after event, talking to people at Trump supporters. This one's 4 years ago on Why America Needs the Wall. Rebel HQ here. This is Emma Vigeland. I just searched for Emma Vigeland Trump in the search field. Emma attends Trump's 45 Fest. Trump supporter. My liberal girlfriend is a lazier adult. Emma debates the mooch on Trump's bankruptcies. Jordan and Emma take on fascist Trump. That's 7 years ago. Trump supporters brush off Mueller investigation. Psychiatrists. Trump supporters think like 5-year-olds. I'm not sure. I don't see this. The screenshot's kind of blocking what it looks like. Trump kisses college football's racist exploitative ring. So Emma went around the country. Trump supporters deny right-wing terrorism. Emma spent a lot of time in the field actually doing real journalism, interviewing people. And from what I've heard, and I'm not even saying this as an insider stuff, but I don't think Emma wants it it's scary actually not actually leaving the studio and doing real reporting, particularly with a branded, and I think she probably, I went to a Trump rally with Jimmy in 2016. We went to Bernie rallies in Iowa, the Nevada, and as well as the Las Vegas, Nevada caucuses during the 2016 campaign. And we went to a Trump rally, and I think it was in Anaheim in California, too. We got to ride in Bernie Sanders motorcade as well for another one. There was a Bernie, I could be getting confused because there was a Bernie rally somewhere in Southern California than a Trump rally. But I've been there as well. Has Anna ever gone to a Trump rally and interviewed people? She might have. I think she's done some field journalism. I don't want to sit here and say she's done zero, but from what it looks like to me, and I've been paying pretty close attention to this world for a very, very long time, Emma has, oh God, it was just a little kid there. Emma has spent a lot more time actually talking to people at rallies, not just being interviewed on their shows and on their platforms, not just doing that. Let's see. Let's just click on this one, see what it was like.
There have been multiple right-wing terrorist attacks in the past week. The MAGA bomber, the synagogue shooting in Pittsburgh, and the Kentucky shooting as well. And this is par for the course. This is a part of a larger trend. Last year in 2017, right-wing terrorist attacks were by far the majority of terrorist attacks in the United States. I wanted to ask Trump supporters about that fact. There's been a string of right-wing terrorist attacks and kind of an influx in them, an influx in right-wing
terrorist attacks, like when? What?
Like the bomber, like the white supremacist shooting.
Insane person.
Right, but so 37 right-wing terrorist attacks in 2017, only 7 Islamic terrorist attacks, 11 right-wing. That's from the Global Terrorism Database.
Okay. Nice try.
What do I think about false media? fake news. That's what I think about it personally.
No, you know, listen to the man. They just blow it up. They take everything out of context, or when they can. I can't watch CNN anymore. I've just voted today. Earlier today, you see my little sticker. It's the first time in my life I have not voted a split ticket. I've seen enough of the Democrats. It's the first time. I just went straight Republican because I can't stand it anymore.
I mean, Trump is not giving them guns or pointing them at people. We're always going to have problems with our politicians. It's a very difficult job.
Guys wearing a shirt that says "Make Vail Great Again." The ski place in Colorado. Something about a wall. Build something wall. His hand is covering.
Obama had a lot of problems, and I don't hear the Democrats screaming and ranting about all the issues that he had.
Well, he never said, you know, punch him in the face and I'll pay the legal bills to agree.
I don't respond to what he may or may have said.
The white supremacists are not right wing. They're socialists. They're socialists. They believe in big government.
By definition, it's right wing.
By your definition, why would someone who believes in big government be right wing? Why would someone who the Nazis? First of all, there's like 50 of them in the whole freaking country. And there's no association between them and the Republicans.
I mean, do I need to smash cut to Elon Musk hailing Hitler at the podium of the president?
Thank you.
I mean, I'm not trying to place it on this guy, but like, oh my God, this is crazy.
Party. The guy who runs it wants.
They all like the Republicans.
That's their freaking insane problem.
If you're standing in line to vote for Trump, you're standing in line with neo-Nazis, with white supremacists, with white power movement, with KKK, with actual Nazis, with people who are just apologetics for Nazis. Steve Bannon did the Nazi salute. Elon Musk did the Nazi salute. That other guy did. Some dude at CPAC. They're making excuses for it. They're looking the other way. It's very much a flourishing of this exact stuff that they're talking about here. And it's not a surprise that these people are incredibly confused about what happened. And I think, you know, this kind of this sort of misunderstanding can easily is like, it's like America was designed to try to maximize.
Okay, I don't care who they like. They're a bunch of crazies. No one even cares about them. No one cares. They're worthless. No one would have ever heard about Charlottesville if Black Lives Matter and Antifa showed up with baseball bats and masks. You would have never heard their names.
What?
But then they killed someone, and then Trump said there was good people on both sides.
Who started it? I don't know who started it. The Antifa shows up in masks and baseball bats. Did they without a permit? The white supremacists showed up. They have a right to have a permit and act like complete fools, which is what they are. They're complete fools. These guys showed up, and I don't know who started it. I don't care who started it. It's too bad that women got killed. Whoever did it should fry. Has nothing to do with Trump, period.
Except Trump defended the people who did that. You know, it's.
I think that has anything to do with either party. I mean, that person is responsible for his actions.
He used to be a Democrat, too. Nobody talks about that. He was just a crazy person.
Look at his shirt. He's got a Trump shirt where Trump is looking very svelte. It's obviously like illustrated, anime, cartoony looking, but like a flag, a big bombs going off or explosions behind him, and he's standing so bravely looking. She's wearing a Fox News red hat, and he's wearing a U.S. Marine Corps retired red hat.
You can't blame a president for a crazy person.
A lot of the terrorism now is coming from right-wing terrorism. A 2017 study showed that way more than Islamic or left-wing. I'm just wondering if you think Trump's encouraging that kind of rhetoric with the way.
No, he's trying to keep him out. He's trying to keep him out of here, and he's trying to get rid of him, and we're trying. I don't want to see it happen, but if we have to, we'll kill him.
There you go. There it is. That's Emma bringing up terrorism studies to the faces of MAGA voters for outside a Trump rally. I mean, has Anna ever done anything like that? Can she even compare anything she's ever done at all in terms of showing up and actually doing that and making claims like this? Now I'm backing up a little bit.
I don't care about any of that. Like, I don't care about any of that.
Astute analysis. There you have it. Sam Seder, noted expert on Trump voters who he won't talk to and has no interest in understanding. Got it. But it's worth asking why Trump would repeatedly.
Now I realize she's talking about Sam, not Emma. I know that's not, but they're referring to both of them. This is about the show versus show thing. I get that that's not the precisely. No, I don't think Sam himself has also not done what Emma has done. I'm saying that Emma deserves a lot of credit for actually doing this. And these are the videos that Cenk was screaming about. Fuck, god damn it. Shit, God. Come on.
There have been multiple right-wing terrorists.
Back up one more. These are the videos Cenk was screaming about that Emma should pay him back when he had that huge meltdown last October. That a video you've seen, I'm sure, but where he's
look. The last thing is about Peter Thiel. So apparently he put money into Polymarket, right? So that people are holding that against us. Now I didn't know that when we did the deal, but doesn't matter. I'm going to say something revolutionary. No, it doesn't matter. Why? Okay. Peter Thiel also financed PayPal. Did anybody ever use PayPal? If you did, guilty. Okay, hold on. Okay, Peter Thiel also financed Facebook. Did anybody ever use Facebook? I know Emma did because she used to make videos for us on Facebook. Emma, I can't believe you work with Peter Thiel and Peter Thiel funded organization Facebook. Hey, give me all that money back from all of your videos on Facebook because Peter Thiel financed Facebook. You gonna do that? No, you're not gonna do that, right? So it's just a piece of propaganda that they're using against us.
I don't give a shit, okay? I don't care at all. I'm here, I'm speaking my truth.
Yelling that she should pay him back because of Peter Thiel had something to do with Facebook and therefore Emma shouldn't have gotten paid for posting these profitable videos on his media company's platform here because some of these were wound up on Facebook. Some bullshit. He was screaming that she should pay him back for that. Where's Cenk's videos of him interviewing all these people showing up at rallies, being a woman in her 20s? I guarantee there are times, and I'm not saying I have insight here, but I guarantee there are moments where Emma's safety was more compromised, or probably felt a little bit at more risk than if she had just stayed in TYT studio. Which, by the way, there were risks working there as well. I could get into. That's another thing. That's not even secret. That's like when Haas said that thing about the, America deserved 9/11 taken out of context and all that stuff, but that wound up on Fox News. It was this big deal. I was working there at the time. The company got an extra layer of threats at the time because it's a political operation. So there's always this like mild notion of kind of background noise that it's a little bit scary to work at a place that's politically motivated, that arouses a country filled with poor mental health access and much higher weapon access. So anyway, good on Emma for actually doing all that. And so let's keep going here. I want to hear a little bit more of Anna here. Skip ahead a bit.
Implementing Project 2025 isn't even fully accurate because, well, there's a lot that he doesn't agree with that's in that document.
So we could get into the weeds and find some stuff out of the 900-page document that Trump agreeing or disagreeing is bullshit. Any notion that he agrees or disagrees with anything is nonsense. He'll say anything he needs to say at any given moment. He'll flip from one sentence to the next. To be a journalist in this industry and trust anything Trump says is should be, I don't want to say career ending, but that's credibility ruining. Any notion that he's a credible source on anything he believes is ridiculous. To use that in this kind of argument especially. So this jumps a little bit ahead, where they made this point about all these issues at like federal agencies with EPA and stuff, but I'm not sure how it's related to the majority report, but it finishes with her bringing up the Vanguard and stuff here.
Plants where they are then sold to farmers who unknowingly contaminate their fields.
Whoopsies. Now
that clearly is a reference, obviously, to the title of this video there. Just
if you watch Beavis and Butthead on the Vanguard YouTube channel, which the majority report hilariously treats as some authoritative source, you'd think that TYT is totally in favor.
Well, Beavis and Butthead have more credibility than Donald Trump. Anna treats Donald Trump as an authoritative source on Donald Trump, and that's not good journalism whatsoever. So, and yes, actually, the majority report does only source Beavis and Butthead. Vanguard, Silly and Billy are the only two sources of any of their stories that they've ever used for anything.
Of the Trump administration gutting federal agencies.
Except we're not. Two things can be true at the same time.
No.
These agencies have been deeply corrupted, do engage in waste, and should be reformed. But treating the federal workforce as if they're Twitter employees is a disastrous way to handle it, as we've been learning in recent weeks. But let's hear what Emma has to say about my on-air correction.
It is not the prediction. People make predictions all the time.
Right, I was wrong in my prediction about the election,
this
but
is not making some type of Polymarket bet here.
Yeah.
Where the outcome we can't tell.
Yeah.
There was abundance amount of evidence of this. And even if your opinion, not prediction, opinion was, I can't see them doing this.
Like, it's a difference between predicting the outcome of an upcoming event, like an election, and assessing whether the things that have been clear to you and been made clear by all sorts of evidence and corroborating evidence that MAGA wouldn't be against Trump in his implementation of Project 2025, and that Trump is not a reliable narrator or source for anything regarding that, is particularly in terms of the way that he would lie in an election, which is unusual for a politician, but also normal practice in our system, where it's filled with lying politicians who pretend to be something they're not during election season. That happens on all sides of the political spectrum, for sure. So but it's a different thing to be wrong about in a lot of ways. Emma has owned up to being wrong, and she said, she anybody who does predictions is either going to have to say I was right or I was wrong, and use that as a way to learn from that. That's a good thing to do. I'm sure she would prefer to be right than wrong on her predictions, as most of us would probably, right? But it's nowhere near the same kind of correction or thing about the completely the completely misunderstanding or at least showing some sort of whatever. I don't know why Anna thought the way she did, but she could probably defend that. Why she didn't think Project 2025 was going to be implemented, because there was some other group doing it. I don't want to mischaracterize it either, by the way. So I'm sure this won't be the only video on the subject.
This is pretty radical. The idea that you would mock people for believing it and saying it was a conspiracy theory. The people had Trump derangement syndrome. I'm sorry. Give me a break.
Apologies, I forget.
Assuming Trump would be a useful vessel, a useful idiot for the right-wing project, fulfilling their ultimate fantasy of full control over the government and asserting constitution-destroying power as a wild idea is ridiculous. I forgot how I started that sentence, so I don't know if the way it finished made any sense. But the notion that Trump wouldn't implement the things he was told to do. His whole thing is he's a lazy figurehead who'd rather golf and do the salesman's part of the thing, and that's his usefulness to the Republican project.
That Sam usually doesn't let Emma get a word in edgewise, but I'll address what she said in that video in a second. But before I do, did I mock voters who were worried about Project 2025? Because I don't remember doing that. What I do recall is chastising Kamala Harris and the Democratic Party for offering nothing to voters other than incessant fear-mongering about Trump.
I don't know what the hell it is. It's Project 25. He's involved in Project, and then they read some of the things and they are extreme. I mean, they're seriously extreme, but I don't know anything about it.
Project 2025, I'm sure you heard of it. It was cooked up by the right-wing think tank known as the Heritage Foundation, and it has been such a thorn in Trump's side that his team successfully pushed for the ouster of its director, a guy by the name of Paul Dans. Now, the Trump campaign did not author Project 2025. You might think they do because Democrats make it appear as though Trump himself wrote it, but it has been attributed to his campaign by Democrats as part of their political strategy. And I think that it is wrong to do this, because when you inaccurately attribute something to Trump, when you cry wolf, well, when he actually does pose a threat on things, people are going to be fatigued from the fear mongering. And so I want to make my case on this. There is a very obvious split
in the Republican Party that I think a lot of Democrats are unaware of. There are the traditional conservative Republicans, they're the war hawks, they're the individuals who are very extreme when it comes to social issues. And then there are the more isolationist MAGA Republicans. These are the America First crowd. They don't like what's in Project 2025. And so what Trump is doing in disavowing it is trying to appease or appeal to members of his own base. So again, like he knows that it's actually politically advantageous to not be associated with something that is not popular with the America First MAGA crowd. Now, Washington Post reporter Isaac Arnsdorf, who's been following this story very closely, discloses some really important facts about how the Heritage Foundation agenda was developed in the first place, and the timing of how they developed it is also really important. And guys, I'm not telling you this because I'm trying to defend Donald Trump. I'm telling you this because I don't want people living in fear because Democrats are attributing something that Trump didn't write to Donald Trump. So with that in mind, take a look.
Project 2025 started before Trump was the nominee, before it was clear that he was going to be the nominee. And the idea was for the Heritage Foundation.
It's important to know the facts. It's important to be honest about what's really going on in this election. Donald Trump, in my opinion, is a target-rich environment. And if the Democratic Party wants to fearmonger about him, please do so on things that he's actually saying he's gonna do. But associating him with the Heritage Foundation, which again is full to the brim of traditional conservative Republicans that MAGA Republicans find repulsive, I think is weird. And the reason why Donald Trump is so furious about it is not because Democrats are fearmongering about it to liberals. He's furious about it because some in the MAGA crowd are concerned that the Heritage Foundation agenda is going to be implemented.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks.
I also remember criticizing members of the.
I mean, is fear-mongering about Trump? It's turned out to be a bad electoral strategy for the Harris campaign, obviously, as was their full embrace of genocide and murdering fucking monsters. I mean, they made all kinds of crazy mistakes. So let's jump ahead here a little bit. Actually, it's really close to where we just were. So, okay, we'll just play through this to a point where
media who simply regurgitated anything the Democratic Party claimed. I also found it fascinating that as the whole of the Democratic Party was engaging in said fear-mongering, they were also playing part in a massive cover-up about Biden's mental decline. I mean, just think about it. Democracy is under threat. We, the Democrats, insist that this corpse stay in the race to give us the best chance of beating Trump and saving democracy. But since Emma brought it up, let's address the fact that inaccurate predictions are totally okay, but only when she's wrong. In the lead up to the presidential race, Emma declared that her final electoral college prediction is that Harris sweeps all 7 swing states and ekes out a victory in Iowa. My only reservation is that I don't want to jinx the results, but I'm trying to avoid the trappings of magical thinking. Well, Emma, the magical thinking is what led you to think that Harris would sweep all battleground states, not that you cited superstitious jinxing. And of course, Trump, not Harris, went on to win all swing states and the popular vote. The average of polls clearly showed Harris trailing Trump. She ran a horrific campaign, stood for nothing, was unpopular with anyone who was paying attention, and wasn't even nominated through a democratic process. She was anointed. How's that for saving democracy? But you worked very hard to launder her reputation and sell her to Americans. So much so that I thought maybe, just maybe, all those Kamala Harris ads that interrupted your YouTube videos were possibly clouding your judgment. But you say you were delusional all on your own. And you know what? I'll take your word for it.
Decent dig, Anna, by the way. Props to you were delusional all on your own. Not a bad.
But since we're on the topic.
But let's look what Anna said. Remember, she's acknowledging the Harris. This is the only part of the video where she acknowledges the accusation, the defamatory accusation that the Harris campaign had paid the Majority Report, right? So she acknowledges it by saying YouTube ads that played on the video on your videos. So does that comport with, Emma, you should probably be open about the Harris campaign's ad buy on the Majority Report too? Ad buy, huh? That's not how YouTube works. Maybe that's why you were cheering so hard for a woman who shoot away any left-wing activists who wanted to eat. So we've seen this before. So it's actually YouTube serves ads based on, I think it's based on both what's in the video, like the algorithm from the source of the video, like the video side, the channel, as well as the user's inputs into the algorithm, right? That's how it works. Like that's partly why the whole point of the algorithm is it can customize it to the end consumer, the user. So it's a bit of a self-own, if it seems like to me. If she's saying, I saw a bunch of Harris ads, it'd be like, okay, guys, hey, guys, be careful. I don't know what it is about TikTok. For some reason, the whole platform, it's just hot girls telling the camera how much they like bald men with small penises. I don't know why they think that that's a good model for a video. Why? That's weird. I mean, every single video is just girls saying that the link in bio, and I like bald guys who have alopecia and small wieners. That's not strange. Like, it's a major self-own to do that. It's not actually small. It's actually quite big. It's just 6 inches of tip. That's why. Okay, sorry. I'm sorry. I can't. Okay, I might have to remove that part. Okay. All right. So there's that part. There's more here. Obviously, we could keep going, but this is the stuff I clipped out. So